Be a source of pleasure. No one wants to hear about your problems and troubles. Listen to your target's complaints, but more important, distract them from their problems by giving them pleasure. Do this often enough and they will fall under your spell. Being lighthearted and fun is always more charming than being serious and critical. An energetic presence is likewise more charming than lethargy, which hints at boredom, an enormous social taboo. And elegance and style will usually win out over vulgarity, since most people like to associate themselves with whatever they think elevated and cultured. In politics, provide illusion and myth rather than reality. Instead of asking people to sacrifice for the greater good, talk of grand moral issues. An appeal that makes people feel good will translate into votes and power. 1. Be a source of pleasure. The first idea is simple. People naturally enjoy being around people who make them feel good. Think about it. If someone meets you and every conversation becomes complaints, money problems, relationship problems, stress, anger, work problems, they may eventually start avoiding you. That doesn't mean you should hide your problems or pretend everything is perfect. It means you shouldn't make every interaction about your problems. Instead, bring something positive into the conversation. Make people laugh. Tell an interesting story. Talk about something exciting. Create an atmosphere where they can relax for a moment. People often remember how you made them feel more than the exact words you said. 2. Listen to their problems, but don't stay there. The passage isn't saying you should ignore people's problems. In fact, it says the opposite. Listen to their complaints. When someone is frustrated, sometimes they simply want someone to hear them. But there's a difference between listening and allowing the entire interaction to become negative. Imagine someone says, "Work has been terrible lately. I'm exhausted." You could keep asking questions that make them complain for another 30 minutes. Or you could listen, understand them, and then gently shift the conversation. "I understand. You've had a rough week. Come on, let's talk about something that'll take your mind off it." Now you've done two things. You acknowledged their feelings and then you gave them an emotional escape. That's powerful because people often appreciate the person who helps them temporarily. Forget what's bothering them. 3. Learn to create lighthearted moments. The passage says being lighthearted and fun is often more charming than being constantly serious and critical. This doesn't mean you have to become a comedian. It simply means you shouldn't make every conversation heavy. A little humor can completely change the atmosphere. For example, imagine you're with someone and everything feels tense. Instead of criticizing the situation, you might make a harmless joke or tell a funny story. Suddenly, the tension disappeared. That's the point. A person who can bring lightness into a serious environment can become very enjoyable to be around. But there's an important balance. Don't force jokes, mock people's pain, or turn everything into entertainment. The goal isn't to become a clown. The goal is to make interactions feel comfortable and enjoyable. 4. Bring energy into the room. The next idea is about your presence. You don't necessarily need to be loud or extremely outgoing. But if you constantly look bored, tired, uninterested, and disconnected, people may assume you don't want to be there. Energy is contagious. When someone speaks with enthusiasm, pays attention, smiles, and genuinely engages with the conversation, other people often respond to that energy. Compare two people. The first person barely looks at you, gives one-word answers, and constantly looks at their phone. The second person listens, reacts, asks questions, smiles, and seems genuinely interested. Who would you rather spend time with? Most people would choose the second person. So the lesson is simple. Don't just physically show up. Be mentally present. 5. Pay attention to how you present yourself. The passage also talks about elegance and style. This isn't necessarily about wearing expensive clothes or having lots of money. It's about presentation, clean clothes, good hygiene, taking care of yourself, speaking respectfully, having good manners, knowing how to behave in different environments. These small things can influence how people perceive you. Why? Because people often make judgments from what they see before they understand who you really are. You don't need designer clothes to look impressive. Sometimes simplicity, cleanliness, confidence, and good manners create a stronger impression than expensive clothing ever could. 6. Give people something inspiring to believe in. The passage then moves into politics, but the principle can be understood more broadly. It says that people are often attracted to stories, ideals, and visions, not just cold facts. Think about a leader trying to motivate people. Saying, "You need to work harder because the situation is terrible," is very different from saying, "We're building something better and every person here has a role in creating it." The second message gives people a vision. It makes them feel like they're part of something meaningful. This is why powerful leaders, marketers, speakers, and storytellers often use emotion and vision alongside facts. People don't make every decision purely through logic. They also respond to hope, belonging, excitement, pride, and possibility. 7. The bigger lesson. And this brings us to the main message of the entire passage. People are naturally attracted to people and environments that make them feel better, more hopeful, more interesting, and more alive. If every interaction with you feels like criticism, complaints, boredom, or negativity, people may eventually distance themselves. But if you can listen without judging, create moments of laughter, bring positive energy, present yourself well, and give people something meaningful to look forward to, your presence becomes valuable. However, there's an important warning. Don't use this simply to manipulate people. Being charming shouldn't mean pretending to care just to control someone. The strongest version of this principle is genuine. Become someone who actually brings value into people's lives. When people leave a conversation with you feeling lighter, happier, understood, or inspired, they'll naturally want to experience that feeling again. And that's the real power behind being a source of pleasure.